what exactly is Straumann? Who is Straumann? Why? What's the difference? What makes them who they are?
I think for us dentists, you can tell right off the bat the quality. You could even feel it, the instruments, how everything just fits perfectly. How even the small screws, once you put it inside the screw, you can even move it and it doesn't fall off. You can feel the quality.
We believe is the number one implant in the world, and it's because of all the studies that there's out there. Someone can say they're the best in the world, but can you say you're the best in the world after 70 years being open? I mean, a lot of people have poured.
And we have a biologic implant. Why? Because the osseointegration is perfect. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Important thing.
Very important.
Yeah.
It's a mechanical and it's also a biological implant. So it's what price do you put on your peace of mind? What price do you put on your time?
Is that precise that it's even hard to take off the abutment from the implant even without the screw. Without being tight, the abutment to the implant is hard to take it off because of this cold weld.
That's the Straumann world-class doctor. The Straumann world-class, saying that we're world-class clinics, that we have world-class doctors here. This was given to, if my understanding is correct, to the 10%, the top 10% in Mexico. Through Straumann, they received this award. We have two of them. How long has your mom had the implant from Straumann?
12 years.
12 years.
12 or 13 years.
And you said someone else in your family had it?
I just placed 5 implants on my mom about 3 or 4 months ago.
3 or 4 months ago?
5 of them, yeah.
This was done on July of 2024. Straumann's net worth is...
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper and heavy D up in the limousine.
Welcome back to Supreme Dental Podcast Studio. You can be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. Don't make sure to like and subscribe. Remember, this podcast was meant for you, our patients. My wife and I are the owners of Supreme Dental Clinic. Listen, we're on Spotify and we're also on Apple Podcasts, so you guys can listen to your favorite episodes. Rewind, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're informed on your dental journey. And today we're going to talk, we have our implantologists here, a team of implantologists, and we're going to talk a little bit about Straumann. So today we have Dr. Alonso. How you doing, Dr. Alonso?
Hi. We
have Dr. Ivan, a.k.a. Spooky.
Right.
Dr. Elias.
Hello, Frank.
And we have Luis.
Hello.
So guys, it's this episode, it's well due to explain exactly to our patients what exactly is Straumann. Who is Straumann? Why? What's the difference? What makes them who they are? Because a lot of the times we actually have Straumann and our patients don't know about them. So who's going to start this? Who's going to take over the Straumann baton? Boom, 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 boom.
Well,
boom,
the first is an old company, 70 years.
70 years.
70 years, yes. And this company has a lot of papers, a lot of information, a lot of the studies about the bone, about the titanium, about the anatomy of the implant. It's the most important company in the world, probably, of implants.
Yeah, it's a world-renowned, as Dr. Luis mentioned, it's a world-renowned implant company. It's pretty much like the Disneyland for dentists for implants.
Yeah.
Pretty much like a company based off what dental practitioners are saying, their studies, and what we need, and they make it work. They've been on the market for more than 70 years. They're always perfecting everything that they do. There's studies out there. They're always on top of the market as far as delivering new and innovative things, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, yes.
Switzerland company. I think it's one of the most important, or probably the most important. If we are talking about implants, they have a lot of studies, like
Yep.
Dr. Luis said. They have a lot of studies for more than 23 years old, and that's really, really important because they know exactly how work the implants.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, know between all the dentists, every dentist, implantologists know they're the best implants in the market.
So each and every one of you guys told me why. You told me that it has a lot of studies, a lot of paperwork. You told me the same thing. You said a lot of implantologists know that it's the best in the world. You told me the same thing. But why is it the best in the world? I can say I'm the best in the world, which hopefully to my wife I am. But why? What makes it the best in the world, guys? Why? What's the difference? It's made in Switzerland. Who cares? What makes it the best in the world? Who's gonna answer? We're gonna go in parts here, or why is it different?
I think for us dentists, you can tell right off the bat the quality. You could even feel it, the instruments, how everything just fits perfectly. How even the small screws, once you put it inside the screw, you can even move it and it doesn't fall off. You can feel the quality, and you can say you're the best, as you mentioned, but when you can back it up with studies for more than 30 and 40 years, and you can actually show people why your stuff is better, it makes a world of a difference. And right now we're gonna get into like more detailed stuff.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
For example, with the studies, you can see, for example, the situation of the bone. For example, the first year and 20 years later, the difference of the bone, and the difference is very, very small. But with another implant, it's a big difference. Sometimes the bone is loose, maybe 3, 5, 6 millimeters, but with the Straumann, 1 millimeter or probably nothing.
So you're talking about that there's less bone loss.
Yes.
There's studies of over 20 years that prove that there's less bone loss.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Why?
Yes.
It's for the anatomy, is for the surface of the implant. For example, the Straumann has a different surface. The most important is the SLActive. Is the best surface. I don't know who is, but it's the most important.
And we don't know how it is, not because we don't know. It's because it's something that the company, it's a secret.
It's a secret.
Patent.
Yes.
It's patent.
Yeah, of course.
What is that?
Okay, I think piggyback on what they started, we have to remember that the implants that we use are made out of titanium. But not every implant is made from the same grade as titanium. We classified the quality of how pure, how good the titanium is on grades. Standard implants are grade 4, and any medical field it's graded implants, but standard for dental implants it's a grade 4 titanium, and we measure the megapascals, how much pressure you can apply to the titanium before it breaks. Grade 4 is around 500 megapascals. Straumann has a grade 4 that's around 700 megapascals, but Straumann has a combination between zirconium and titanium, which is called Roxolid.
Roxolid, yeah.
And that measures up to 1,000 megapascals.
We have 85% of titanium and 15% of zirconium. This is like a union of two different metals to use more strong implants.
Is that on the BLX?
That's on the BLX. That's all on all their
all the Straumann implants. All the Straumann implants.
All Straumann implants.
Okay.
So
BLT,
so it's
BL,
a grader.
BL, yeah.
It's a higher grade. Their standard is 4. Straumann has something that's called Roxolid that doubles how much pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what they call Roxolid. That's the surface of the titanium of what it's made out of. So the quality is twice as best as any in the
greatest resistant
market.
mechanical function.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
Also, something good is that they like to innovate things like the torque fit connection. They have their own connection on all the BLX system that allows to have platform switching, which is something very important in the implants because it gives the longevity of the implants. Because with the platform switching, that allows to grow gums on top of the implants. And if you don't lose gums, you don't lose bone. That makes the implant last longer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, JT, make sure that we're putting videos on each one of the of what when they're speaking of everything underneath, so that people could see exactly out in the podcast and they could see exactly what we're talking about. Because everything is documented and all these things that there's different videos and certifications on that.
Jumping off of the platform switching, when we talk about platform switching, we're talking about how the abutment, where the crown is going to go, onto the implant, how it connects. Some platforms from the abutments and the implants connect like this. Like it's a passive 90-degree connection, right?
Serious.
The problem with that is that everything that comes from the outside, from the crown, is going to be in direct contact with the implant, and that's going to imply bone loss throughout the future. That's why there was a belief before that implants were going to lose 0.09 millimeters of bone. That's what we used to think it was normal, but then we found out that with platform switching, when we do the diameter of the implant wider and the abutment a little bit thinner, and we connect those together, it's going to create a gap, which we call a micro gap. That's going to maintain that bacteria's away from the implant itself, and we're not going to lose bone. Now, it has to be very good titanium and very good metals, because the connection is going to be smaller, and it's going to create a gap, and it's going to protect the implant down the line.
Yes.
One of the things more important, I think, is think about in a micro, the micro characteristics of these implants. So one of the because if we are talking about this, but we have to focus in like I say in micro. So our cells are very just micro. So when we do this, when they do this implant, they are focusing in things very micro. So the SLActive, this surface on the implants, this is this is something really amazing, because the surface has more contact with the bone.
With the
and
bone
this,
cells.
Yeah. So this create more force and create more resistance to the bone.
With this thing, we can use a small implant or with big crowns. For example, molars over a small implant, maybe 3.75 millimeters of wide and maybe 8 millimeters to length. We can use as a big crowns. But for example, with another implant, I don't know, a mechanical implant, we cannot work with big crowns, because it's just mechanical.
Yeah,
and it is a difference.
And why is this that they mentioned that? And it's very important, because they're not just thinking about the macro design of the implant; they're also thinking about the micro, the micro, the small parts of the implant. And it's very important that something that he mentions, the SLActive, the surface, how this implant is treated. So in other implants, the surface, it's a smooth surface, and there's something very, very important that we call bone implant contact. Right, that pretty much says how much bone your implant is contacting, and everything. This is not just like
it's a biologic contact.
It's a biological contact, but because remember, you're not just going to have an implant. You're going to have a crown that's going to be receiving pressure, and we want to make sure that whatever's hanging on, it can sustain that pressure that's being sustained. Now, the thing about SLActive is that the surface of the implant is sandblasted, and it's treated with lasers. So it's not just a line like this. That same line has little grooves that if you stretch it out, it's longer. It's 50% more implant contact. The same measurement, same implants, but it's going to have 50% more contact with implants. So as Dr. Luis mentioned, a smaller implant for Straumann can sustain a bigger crown, because theoretically it's contacting more bone because of the treated surface that Dr. Alonso mentioned, the SLActive.
Yes, also the size of the threads. The size of the threads increase the contact.
We have two important things. The mechanical resist is a mechanical implant, because this implant can resist depression, and we have a biologic implant. Why? Because the osseointegration is perfect. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So important thing.
Very important.
Yeah.
It's a mechanical and it's also a biological implant.
Why mechanical? It's because the Roxolid surface is the best. Remember, it's 15% of zirconium and 85% of titanium.
So me as a consumer, okay, I know that they has the SLActive, the little juice that comes around the implant itself, that attracts white cells, if I'm not mistaken. And correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right.
Yeah.
And when it gets placed, we have a commercial right here, and George will be able to put it on. There is a commercial where they put a video where they put an implant on a cup of blood, and the blood automatically starts coming up on the implant itself. Mm-hmm. Okay, this ain't witchcraft. This is because a biological implant also. So an implant that you guys have out there, you put the implant on, and it's a piece of metal that goes in, titanium, and over time, I mean, it's a piece of titanium. You know, there's going to be perhaps different type of vibration or whatever, but it integrates to a point to your system. But biologically, this is a biological implant also, so it makes everything just happen smoother and better. There's a lot less bone loss. And in your body, like I said, if you put something on top of a cup of blood and the blood starts coming up automatically on it,
Hydrophilic.
It's a whole different level. You know, as a consumer, there's no comparison to that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of mechanical implants out there with a great grade of titanium, and not speaking bad about anybody, because we don't just work with Straumann. But Straumann is also a biological implant. So we talked about the grade of titanium, which is 4, and it has the Roxolid, which also has zirconia. We talked about the type of abutment, that the abutment is smaller on the implant itself, making that micro gap, or I don't know what it's called, you said.
Micro gap.
And it makes bacteria not get...
it creates a barrier.
A barrier of the bacteria. We talked about the way that it's done, some sandblasted and different things of that nature. We talked about being a biological implant and also a mechanical implant. We talked about where it's made. It's made in Switzerland. If you guys Google it at home, it's always going to be number 1 or number 2 implant in the world. We believe is the number 1 implant in the world. And it's because of all the studies that there's out there. You know, someone can say they're the best in the world, but can you say you're the best in the world after 70 years being open? I mean, a lot of people have poured their sweat and blood into all this different technology, all these different research for us to now be able to place it in your mouth and tell you that it's the best investment that you can do. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but do you want something just mechanical in your mouth, which there's nothing wrong with it? Or do you want it to be also biological and just integrate that much better? Let's talk about the bone loss, guys. What is the bone loss on an implant like this?
And because I don't want to forget.
Go for it.
I don't want to forget the thought. That's something that Dr. Luis mentioned. One of the clinical benefits as well that the patient is because the patient is gonna be like, well, I can't really see that.
Right.
This all adds up to longevity, but also on how fast and how quick this implant also integrates, and how fast and how easier you can get your crown over this implant. Regular implants can go from 4 months up to 6 months. But because how the BLX implants, the threads are very, very sharp, it's going to get very good primary stability. And that means that I'm going to apply pressure on the implant on bone, and it's going to stick and it's going to be hard, right? But because of how the surface is treated, how it's going to be sandblasted, it's going to be easier. And because it's going to attract the white blood cells, because it's not smooth. When something is smooth, nothing attaches to it. The white blood cells and the bone blood cells are not gonna be able to attach because this is sandblasted. It's gonna be easier for them to stick. When we have the right conditions and the right amount of torque, obviously each patient is different. If we have a young patient, Straumann can heal up to 1 month. It takes 4 weeks for the implant to fully heal. It depends. It depends on the patients. Depends on age, diabetes, or things like that.
The bone condition.
Yeah. But if it's between a month and 2 months that we can say that implant is ready to go because all the things.
So someone comes in to get an implant right here. When can they come back to get their crown?
A month, 2 months. It depends on other implants. Minimum 4.
4 6
and we're talking about
4 to 6.
Yeah, because on the other implants, the cells themselves do not attach to it. They create bone around it. But there's not an actual like stimulation that's actually attached to them like Straumann.
Okay, so talk to me about the bone loss. Because it's biological, is the bone loss a lot less than what it is on a normal implant?
So the thing about bone loss, it's going to depend also on the prosthetic end of just the implant, not just the surgical part.
We're talking about the surgical part. You put the implant, they come back without having anything over it. What is the bone? Do you believe? Does it have any better success rate? Does more bone come around it?
Yeah,
like 98% successful rate.
Yeah, it doesn't have bone loss around it. No.
So now let's talk about Pro Arch. So we do a lot of all-on-4s and a lot of all-on-6s. What is the big difference of doing something? Obviously, we know it's biological. We know the material is the best of the best. We know it's the number 1 company in the world. We talk about integration. We talk about bone loss. We're doing a lot of bone stabilization when we do immediate loads. When someone comes in and gets an LM4, LM6 with immediate loads over Straumann implants, how long can they come back to get their final procedure?
2 months.
Usually, 2 months and a half.
2
is
months.
10 weeks.
10 weeks.
So in 10 weeks,
10 weeks.
someone can come back and get their final prosthesis.
Yeah.
2.5. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're pretty much not waiting for the implant. We're pretty much waiting for the tissues around it.
Tissues, yes.
But with other implants, we have to wait 4.
Yeah, 4 to 6. It really
Four-
depends
That's a
on
big
the torque that
difference.
it gives you.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's a big difference.
It makes a big difference on a patient.
Oh, for sure.
You know, a lot of the times, and one of the things that we haven't touched up on, guys, is our patients are normally not 10, 15, 20, 50 miles away. Our patients either are hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. Talk to me about the double lock. What is it? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Could be maybe the torque fit connection. We're talking about that. That connection, it have a degrees, a 9 degrees angle that help to make like a cold, how you say?
Cold welding.
Cold welding. The abutment integrates to the implant. Is that precise that it's even hard to take off the abutment from the implant even without the screw. Without being tight, the abutment to the implant is hard to take it off because of this cold weld.
Yeah, the fit is so perfect that it creates a cold welding effect that you can't take it out. Like even if you look at it through a microscope, you can't even see the difference between where one starts and where ends. And we have the pictures. They have the pictures. We could.
Yeah, we'll
show
put
them.
the pictures up. I think about it as, you know, on the bottles on top of the medication, you know, there's ones that you could just spin. Because a lot of times patients have gotten implants, any brand, and they come in and the crown is loose. The multi-unit is loose. Whatever it is, it's loose. It got, wear and tear, chewing. It's a mechanical implant. It's hitting, and it becomes loose. With a double lock technology, I have not seen myself somebody come back because their crown is loose.
Not with Straumann. Nope.
No,
So then I ask
no.
our patients, you're coming from New York, you're coming from Texas, you're coming from wherever you're coming from Florida. How much was the flight over here? How much is your time worth? You're going to fly, you're going to get implants, get something that you know is not going to go loose, and it's not our fault.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not your dentist's fault anywhere else you went to. If you invest in this better implant, it's going to have that. What is that? It's not a double lock. What is it called?
No, it's torque fit.
The torque fit.
It's going to be screwed. The first lock is the screw, and the second one is the cold welding that from the conomorse that it has over the.
So
abutment of
it's
the
like
crown.
that medication bottle that you got to press down, and you got to spin to open, and your kids can't open it because they keep on spinning.
Right.
It's different than just anybody that can just spin it and open it up.
Good example.
It's an example.
Mhm.
It's not 100% like that, obviously.
Yeah,
this
because
is a
we have to
lot more.
translate it to what I mean,
Right.
we know what we're talking about, but we have to make sure
Right.
that someone that's never been on a dental field have to understand. So it's a really good.
So
analogy.
it's what price do you put on your peace of mind? What price do you put on your time? That's the difference, that the big difference in a lot of times it's not even that big of a jump on the implant itself or on the full arch, knowing what you're getting. But the thing is that patients don't know what they're getting. So
Yeah.
for example, and a little bit to retract a little bit on everything, these guys that you guys see up here, we have one right here, we have over there. That's the Straumann World Class Doctor. The Straumann World Class, saying that we're world class clinics, that we have world class doctors here. This was given to, if my understanding is correct, to 10%, the top 10% in Mexico. Through Straumann, they received this award. We have 2 of them, and the way that they told me was that for the first time in Straumann's history in Mexico, they actually did it to a clinic, not just to a doctor's name. So this says, if I put it in Spanish, is recognizing Supreme Dental Clinic for being a clinic in world class that has done contributions to better the health of his patients and of his products, with Straumann products of the best quality, always looking for the best. And then it says Guillermo Cuello, Country Manager, Straumann Group, Mexico. And it's in Spanish, so it took me a little bit of time because I had to convert it to English. But right now, we're also going to put up here, George is going to put up here a letter that we got from Straumann, that we could use their logos, that we can use their videos, which we'll be playing videos in future videos that we're gonna put out, and that's something that they gotta prove. It's a proof for us to do it, because they know what we're doing is right. Obviously, whoever's been watching these podcasts, that we're doing what's best for you. And if for any reason you cannot come to us and you gotta go somewhere else because of whatever, choose right, choose the best brand, choose what's best for you, obviously. And if, like I said, if it was a $10,000 difference on your Pro Arch, but it's not. If on the implant itself, it's a $400 difference. And you're like, well, that's $400. Yeah, well, how much is the flight to get here? Yeah, well, how much is your 2-3 days that you're going to fly down here? Or you're going to, how much is the doctor and your dentist back in Florida going to charge you to retighten the crown? Or to redo the crown? Or they're going to say it doesn't work and they have to redo another crown.
And the day off work.
And the day off work, the day away from your family. Nobody likes the airports, guys. I love going on trips. But I don't like going on the airport and then something changes and the flight changes and then there's delays and then there's time. I cannot put a price tag on my time. I really can't. And guys, this is Straumann has done a phenomenal job on what they're doing. That it's backed up by research after research. You guys have gone to huge trainings. All three of you guys, and Dr. Mitch, are going to Switzerland to be able to be in, if I'm not mistaken, is Basel, Switzerland, and it's gonna be you guys are gonna be inside the company itself and see how these implants are done and all that good stuff. And we have pictures, and we'll put. JT has a lot of work to do. We're gonna post a Zoom meeting that my wife and I had with the top marketing in Straumann in Mexico, with one of their best trainers. What is the trainer name that came to train us here at Supreme?
Rocio
Callejas. We have George, we have Diego, we have Dulce, and then there's another lady also that was there, and she does a really phenomenal, she does a great job. And they were all on a Zoom together to be able to see what we can do better for our patients. And there's projects coming in, and there's a lot of things that we're going to be rolling out that we want to do with Straumann, because we know it's a great option for our patients. Hey, it's me again. Just to let you guys know, we were so excited to make this podcast a reality, and we could have not done it without these certain people I'm going to list, and I did not want to miss them. So I got a list. We got Paulina Garcia, Marketing and Education Manager of All Mexico Straumann. We have Dulce Albiter, General Manager of Mexico North Region for Straumann. We have Diego Lujambio, the Manager of the State of Baja California for Straumann, and our very own Jorge Guerrero, our Straumann VIP, who makes sure that we have everything ready to work on your beautiful smiles. But more importantly, a big shout out to Guillermo Cuello, the CEO of Straumann Mexico, who's making sure that we are both in the same synchronization to make sure that we give you the best smile possible. Because here at Supreme, smiling starts here. Now back to this amazing podcast. But we talked about the benefits on the titanium itself. We talked about the benefits on your implants not becoming loose, the abutments, the prosthesis that you put over it. We talk about the sandblasting. We talk about, what else did we talk about? We talked about the bone integration. We talked about the way that it's structured so bacteria doesn't get on it. So all that equals patients will lose less bone, meaning the implant will stay in their mouth a lot longer. How long has your mom had the implant from Straumann?
12 years.
12 years.
12 or 13 years.
And you said someone else in your family had it?
I just placed 5 implants on my mom about 3 or 4 months ago.
3 or 4 months ago?
5 of them, yeah.
We just it's when you guys talk about Straumann, you guys get so into. We just had a master class not too long ago, and you guys talked about Straumann like if it was like, oh man, like something you guys really believe in. You guys are really excited about it.
Like they should pay us for it.
You guys, yeah, like we should get sponsored by them. And it's you guys are so about it. It's and it's not because it's they're giving us at a cheaper rate. They're not. They're not. It's because we know that it's going to be the best option.
And we've talked to you because your mind works like a lot. We don't think like that. We're like, how do we get that message across to that patient? Like,
The patient.
you know, how do we actually let them know the difference? Like, why it's not just a $400 difference, like that big difference on, because we're all about it, you know, we're all about quality, how the better implant, but sometimes we couldn't get that message across, and you helped us out to how to get that message across, how it's much of a better implant.
Yeah, and definitely, and also with us now, it's the only implant that has lifetime warranty. So
The
that's
big difference.
that's
Because
how,
they give us a lifetime warranty.
they
as
give
well.
us a lifetime warranty. Correct.
That's how much they actually believe on their implant.
Correct.
We believe in their
Yeah.
implant as well.
Correct. Anything else you guys want to add on Straumann?
The prosthetic part, it's not just like the surgical part. The prosthetics, it's also
Yeah.
just sharp
Very
on point.
precise.
To be honest,
You can feel the quality.
I can feel the difference because the
Oh, you guys said that, yeah, you
The,
guys-
the tools is different. Is like more passive.
More precise.
and
More
front-
passive. Everything just
passive and-
connects better.
Yeah.
You can feel the
Fits perfectly.
smoothness on them.
And they're always thinking about everything. Like they even have an abutment for anterior implants where you can actually make the access hole to the back.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, no one has that. I think Noble is coming up with that, but it's actually a Straumann thing that they came up with that. Sort of like a multi-unit where you can actually. They're thinking about everything.
Yes.
So they got everything down.
They offer you prosthetic solutions. That's the
Yep,
thing.
that's what they call it,
Prosthetic
yeah.
prosthetic solutions.
Because patients are not coming in to get implants, right? Patients are coming in to get teeth.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when I spoke to the CEO of Mexico for Straumann, I told him, you know what? I believe that the implant sells itself. Like the implant's done in Switzerland, it's not done in Mexico. So there's limits what Mexico can do. And I said, you guys have done the implant itself sells itself to the dentist, but a lot of dentists don't know 100% of this implant and how to actually talk to the patients and the benefit about it. So I believe that that's where we have to do our work. And that's why we're doing this podcast today. So we could show patients and show them the difference, show them the videos that we're going to be posting, the letters. You know, there's so much backing up this implant that is ridiculous. It is literally ridiculous. This implant has been around longer than me and him together, our age together. How old are you?
I'm 33.
30, yeah, I'm 37, so that's 70. So yeah, exactly. See, that's good. It worked out.
Yeah.
Dang, you're getting old, man. When did you get here? How old were you?
Maybe
15?
No, maybe
He was 12.
5 years. 5.
So you were
5.
You were 28, 27?
Probably.
He didn't even remember.
He doesn't even know.
He doesn't even remember.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
Well, I mean, thank you guys for being here today. I know that this podcast was made for our patients to understand the brand of implant and the strength that it has behind it. That is not just a more expensive implant. That is not beautiful, just a beautiful green. You know, that we don't just go to all these kinds of different conferences around the world because it's an implant. No, it's because the best dentists in the world believe in this implant. And obviously, they're not just married to one implant. I mean, there's different brands that are really good. But on this brand itself, being biological and being mechanical, and also big shout outs to George from Straumann. You know, this guy is, I mean, he's legit. I mean, we need something, he's there. You know, we need something, he is there, and he has been the backbone to Straumann for us at least. And we're able to get answers. The worst cases, we have an answer to a certain degree with this implant.
Yeah, it's not a luxury.
It's gonna be a need, not a want.
Yes.
In some situations, there's only an option for Straumann, and it's because of everything that we spoke about today.
Yes.
You know, so any questions? Any of you guys have any questions?
Oh, you were gonna ask us the.
Oh, I had a question.
The network.
Oh yeah, I had a question. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, damn man, you're good.
Yeah.
I thought you were playing on your phone. What's it called? So, how much is Straumann
Net worth.
net worth? We talked about this before.
I said 2 billion
You said $2 billion.
U.S. American dollars.
Ooh.
I think 10 billion.
You said $10 billion.
Dollars, yeah.
Ooh, $10 billion. That's,
Well,
I mean, this is showing the weight that Straumann has. What do you think?
3.
3 billion. I'll take 3. Do
take
we
3.
have 3?
3.5.
3
Okay,
billion.
and you?
Between 5 billion.
5 billion. You guys ready?
Billions and billions and billions.
This was done on July of 2024. Straumann's worth or net worth is $20.4 billion.
No.
Oh yeah.
So we get
I am
your,
close. I am close.
we get your 10 billion, we get your 2 billion, we get your 5 billion.
I win.
And your 3 billion. So 5, that's 8, that's 2, that's 10. We add them all together, and that's well, it was more because that would be 20,
Wow.
and that's 20.4.
Wow.
Wow. Amazing. Wow.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
So Straumann, if you want somebody to market you, I'm your guy. We're here. And this has been Supreme Dental Podcast Studio, powered by Supreme Dental. And just like our staff here today, keep on smiling.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And if you don't know, now you know, you know. Let the beat down in the house. Junior Mafia, Mad Flavor.
I see you.